I've been riding e-bikes for commuting to work for more than 7 years, and my coworker has seen the wide variety of bikes that I've ridden, but he's always told me to join him for a moped-style e-bike. He used to ride motorcycles and said it was a blast to ride a moped-style bike where the joy was in the commute and there was little focus on pedaling and exercise. I finally had the chance to try out a moped-style bike, and now I'm not sure I can go back to riding anything else to work. Hello everybody, this is Matthew Miller, otherwise known as Palm Solo, and thanks for visiting the Mobile with Matt YouTube channel. I appreciate your views and your support. I was sent this Mukkpet Ninja e-bike to evaluate, and on paper it clearly punches far above its reasonable $1,349 price. But let's start off by first unboxing the bike and sharing some first impressions. The Mukkpet Ninja arrives in a typical cardboard box, and along the top are a small box that contains all the tools you need to put the bike together, along with some of the parts and pieces that you'll need to apply as well. I always like to look at the manual first to see what order everything is supposed to be assembled, and the first thing would be the handlebars. So I had to remove the 4 bolts that were on there and put the handlebars in place. But I didn't tighten these fully because I wanted to make sure I put the front wheel and got the bike adjusted exactly where I'd be sitting and have those handlebars in the right level. So just the handlebars go on first, and then the display is not attached in the box like many other bikes that I've assembled before. So the display is in a separate box that you take out, install on the handlebars, and then run the cable to be able to connect it. Then of course you apply the front wheel and make sure to slide it in safely between the hydraulic brake area. Adjusting those handlebars a little bit more and then running the cables to make sure everything is lined up. After the front wheel was on, the headlight and the front fender had to be attached, and those go through a single bolt. So it required some extra tools to be able to tighten those up properly. There's a few bolts on the wheels to add as well to secure those fenders. And then one of the last things to do is to add the pedals to both sides. Then simply take off all of the rest of the packaging that's on the bike, charge it up, and go for a ride. Before we dive into my riding experiences, let's take a closer look at what Mukkpet offers here for just $1,349 compared to some competition. My coworker was riding a $4,000 pedal moped-style e-bike for a couple of years, but the electronics failed and he was unable to get it repaired or under warranty for any reasonable price. So then he picked up a Ride1Up Revv1. That bike is priced at $2,095, and it seems like a reasonable option. That Revv1 bike has a 1,000 watt hub motor, a 30 to 60 mile range, a single 20 ampere hour battery, 120 millimeter front suspension fork, and a bike weight of more than 90 pounds. The very popular Super73-ZX Core is priced at $2,195, but that bike has a 600 watt motor, one single 10 ampere hour battery, a 25 to 35 mile range, single speed gearing, and is a very basic moped style bike that has a rather high cost. Super 73 is often what I hear when people are talking about a moped style bike, and that kind of seems to be the default for a lot of people. But as we'll talk about in more detail, that bike has half the features of what this bike has for nearly double the price. I rode the Mukkpet Ninja into work and showed my coworker who has that Ride1Up. He was impressed by the build quality, the comfort of the seat, the dual battery configuration, the mag wheels, and then I told him the price, and he nearly dropped his coffee cup in surprise. He had paid more than $2,000 for his Ride1Up and he was very happy with it, but he couldn't believe that I could get this bike for $1,349 or less on Amazon right now. So let's get into a little bit about what Mukkpet offers in the Ninja. It has a 6061 aluminum alloy frame, and as you can see here, it is quite beefy. It even has kind of a dual center frame piece there. The Ninja has a 750 watt 48 volt rear hub motor with 1,500 watts of peak power, 80 newton meters of torque, and two 48 volt 15 amp hour batteries, as you can see here, for a total of 30 amp hours of battery power. And each of those batteries has a dedicated on-off switch, so you can turn them off if you're not going to be riding the bike for some time, or if you want to charge them off the bike or something like that. It also has 2 chargers that it comes with, and those can each charge these batteries in about 4 to 5 hours to get full. Has an advertised range of 80 to 120 miles, and I'll talk about my experiences in that range in a bit. The bike weighs in at 83 pounds, which is still pretty heavy, but consider those two large capacity batteries in there. Has a payload capacity of 300 pounds. Unlike some of those other bikes, this bike has dual suspension. So on the front is a fairly typical fork suspension system, and on the back we have a very rigid dual shock system that is very, very comfortable to ride this bike around. Has a 7-speed Shimano transmission, 180 millimeter hydraulic disc brakes, and those brakes, even though this bike gets up and goes really fast, I've been able to stop this bike within about a bike length. It is really, really quick to stop, so be careful with that. Has these lovely rubber ergonomic hand grips, so you can ride for miles and miles and rest your palm right there on those hand grips. It does have a right twist throttle, kind of like a motorcycle throttle on the right side. And as you can see here, it has those 20-inch by 4-inch puncture-resistant fat tires with the mag wheels, which I love on a bike like this for reduced maintenance, and you don't have to worry about spokes breaking as you're riding the bike. It has a very large LCD color display, and one thing that stands out on this LCD display, it's a very large, vibrant color LCD display, and it actually has a USB-C port on the bottom to charge up your phone and other devices. This is the first bike I've ever seen with using the USB-C standard rather than the larger USB-A that we've seen on many, many bikes for years. And this is the first one with USB-C, which is what all of the new connections are nowadays, and that's great to see. It has a couple controllers on the left side. That one controller with the turn signal indicators, a horn, and the pedal assist levels. It is UL 2849 certified with IP65 water resistant rating as well. So let's talk a little bit more about those controllers and the display. So there's two controllers on the left side. The far left one has turn signal indicators with left and right indicator switch that you slide back and forth, and on the back you will see the light does indicate where you're going to be turning to. And then it also has a horn button. So looking at the inboard controller, it has 5 buttons on it. The 2 outboard buttons are obvious. It's a plus and a minus for increasing or decreasing your pedal assist level. Then there's a light button. A single press turns the light on, single press turns it off, and when the light turns on, the display does dim. And then there's an I button or information button that you can push, and that information button will toggle through different stats on the display: odometer, trip distance, max speed, and some other metrics. And then of course there's a power button with a press and a hold to turn it on or a press and hold to turn it off. And as I mentioned, that LCD display is large, vibrant, very brilliant colors on there, and the font is very clear. The graphics are easy to read and large. One other thing I'll mention about that right throttle is the Mukkpet Ninja supports cruise control. So when you twist that throttle and you hold it for several seconds while you're riding, that cruise control kicks in. So you can release the cruise control, just hold onto the handles, and you will continue along at your desired speed. You can also disable that cruise control function by changing the settings in the controller. Now to do that, you press and hold on the plus and minus buttons, and that will access the different settings deep within the control system. And then you can scroll through those different settings and see the cruise control option and switch that to no if you'd like to. I personally love cruise control. I've only seen it on 1 or 2 other bikes in my history of reviewing e-bikes. So to have that present on here, especially on a bike like this, where you're really going to be using throttle mode most of the time, that is a huge benefit to have that cruise control and give your hand a break from having to hold that throttle down. So let's get into a few of my riding experiences. Now, most of you regular viewers all know that I ride up to my neighborhood 13 to 15% incline. Given that the Ninja is a bike that you usually ride mostly in throttle mode, I was really hoping that with just the throttle mode, I'd be able to go up my incline into my neighborhood. Unfortunately, that 80 Newton meters torque rating is a little bit lower than I've seen on other bikes with 90 or 100 Newton meters of torque that have gotten me up the hill. So that 80 Newton meter torque, the heaviness of the bike, my weight, and the hill incline, I was not able to use throttle only and get up the hill. Now that being said, I was able to use the throttle, get up about halfway or so, and it started to slow down. I just put it into pedal assist level 5, and I could shift those gears, and then it was very easy to go 9 to 11 miles per hour with very little effort. But that throttle only mode wouldn't get me all the way up. These moped style e-bikes are optimized for throttle mode. They're not really designed for lots of exercise pedaling or anything like that, so I spent 95% of my time riding the bike in the throttle mode. Thankfully, the pedal assist level that you select also translates to your maximum throttle speed. So you can set the pedal assist level and then rotate the throttle completely into cruise control mode and then enjoy rides at that speed. With my 235-pound weight and a fairly flat paved roads, I saw the following top speeds at each of these pedal assist levels. Pedal assist level 1 was about 18.5 miles per hour. Pedal assist level 2, 23.5 miles per hour. 3 was at 27 to 28 miles per hour. Pedal assist level 4 was 30 to 31 miles per hour. And pedal assist level 5, I saw more than 33 miles per hour on the bike in the default setting. Now, if you select pedal assist level 0, then the throttle will not engage. You'll only be able to pedal the bike with 0 throttle assistance. Mukkpet advertises 80 to 120 miles. With that maximum range spent mostly in a lower pedal assist level and with some pedaling, and in my testing, I was able to achieve about a 75, close to 80 mile range, and that was using pedal assist and throttle level in 2 and 3 range. So that advertised 80 to 120 miles seems fairly accurate. Now be aware that 120 mile range is probably at pedal assist level 1 with a lot of pedaling and not much throttle. So in throttle only mode, you should see easily 60 to 80 miles depending on your weight and the road that you're riding on. Now, I did not spend much time in pedal assist mode because the lower non-adjustable seat height isn't really optimized for pedaling, and the seat is a bit wide to be comfortable for pedaling between your legs. Now, I usually pedal the bike to get up very steep hills like my neighborhood hill and to take off from a stop sign or a stoplight. I didn't have an estimated range for the battery in that mode because I just didn't ride it long enough in that pedal assist mode to calculate a range. Now, in the unlikely event that both batteries died, you could ride the Mukkpet Ninja home, but it does take quite a bit of an effort to propel that bike with this weight and the seat height. Thankfully, that 7-speed Shimano transmission does help make this possible as you can put it into a lower range. So looking at some of the pros and the cons and the fun factors, what can I say? The Mukkpet Ninja opened my eyes to the joy of commuting without exercise. I used to ride motorcycles as a kid, and the sheer thrill of riding while sitting comfortably and twisting the throttle was revived by the Ninja. I'm not sure if I can ever go back to pedaling a bike to commute. The Mukkpet also included 2 chargers, so I can charge up both batteries at the same time, and the bike is ready for me every day of the week. This is also the first bike I've tested with a USB-C port to charge up other accessories, and I'm very pleased with this, located on the bottom of the display. Now, there are a couple of areas for improvement. The headlight is very powerful and bright, but when riding in the dark, especially at the speeds that I'm riding, I really want to see that illumination further ahead of me. I've been able to kind of tweak the headlight adjustment up and down a little bit, but I still want light out further. I'd also love to see a bit more torque to get me up that steep hill while only using the throttle, but it's hard to even say that's an area for improvement with this low $1,349 price point. So, as I mentioned many times, this is $1,349 on the Mukkpet website, but currently it's also now available on Amazon for just $1,299. And if you decide to purchase this bike, please do consider using my Amazon affiliate link in the video description below. I finally listened to my coworker regarding moped-style e-bike, and I'm hooked. He still cannot believe the price, the features, the performance of the Mukkpet Ninja compared to much more expensive competitors like the Super73-ZX, the Ride1Up Revv1, and pedal bikes that cost more and offer less. One challenge with my commute is that it mixes in a train ride with the biking, and at the end of the line, I have to carry the bike up 3 flights of stairs. My coworker suggested just put the bike and yourself in the elevator, and that has pretty much solved the issue. But I have carried it up and down a few times when the elevator line was too long, and it really isn't that bad. If you are considering a moped-style e-bike, I highly recommend that you consider the Mukkpet Ninja. If you do purchase the bike, hold on. It's powerful, capable, and an absolute joy to ride. Thanks for watching my review, and I hope that you enjoyed my experiences with the Mukkpet Ninja. Please consider subscribing and sharing my channel with family and friends, and may the mobile force be with you.